Hello and welcome back. Before we go any further, take a breath. This part of the story doesn't rush. It lets the weight settle. Because consequences don't always arrive screaming. Sometimes they follow you home quietly, sit with you in the dark, and wait for you to notice they have stayed. What happened before was contained, controlled, almost explainable. This part begins after. After the drive you don't remember, after the decision you told yourself was finished. After the moment where the world should have gone back to normal, but didn't. Some doors close badly, others never close at all. And tonight, you're about to meet something that was never supposed to arrive and absolutely refuses to leave. You're listening to Vixen Beyond the Veil. This is the Veilkeeper of Mumbai, Part 3, The Man Who Wasn't Supposed to Arrive. Let's continue. Tara did not remember the drive home. She remembered fragments instead. The way her hands trembled slightly on the steering wheel, the way her foot kept lifting off the accelerator as though the road itself might shift beneath her, the way she caught herself counting under her breath at every red light, every turn, every stretch of empty road, and had to force herself to stop because the habit had already been noticed once tonight, and that knowledge clung to her like a second skin. By the time she reached her building, her pulse had not slowed. Inside the apartment, she locked the door twice without meaning to, dropped her bag near the sofa, and stood there in the half-lit room for a moment, breathing shallowly, waiting for the familiar sense of control to return. It didn't. Her phone buzzed. She flinched, then pulled it out, eyes scanning the notification with sharp focus. Credit alert, incoming transfer. The amount sat there, obscene in its precision, real in a way that no promise ever was. She stared at it for a long moment, then scrolled instinctively to her call history, tapping the number that had haunted her for days.
The number you have dialed does not exist. Please check the number and dial again.
A chill crawled up her spine.
Of course it doesn't,
She muttered, setting the phone down with more force than necessary.
Why would it?
She crossed the kitchen, movement stiff now, automatic, reached for the bottle she reserved for nights when pretending wasn't enough, poured herself a generous measure of scotch. Neat, the amber liquid catching the dim light as she lifted the glass. Her hand was still shaking.
Get a grip.
She told herself quietly.
You did the job, you got paid, that's it.
She raised the glass. The lights flickered. Once, twice. The temperature dropped so suddenly that her breath fogged faintly in front of her mouth. She froze.
No!
She said softly, not loudly enough to sound brave, but not quite a whisper either.
No, this is just…
And then there was a man standing in her living room who very definitely had not been there before. He appeared without warning, without sound, occupying space as though he had always belonged to it, dressed oddly out of place, shirt tucked in with old-fashioned neatness, trousers cut in a style she had only ever seen in photographs, hair combed back with a precision that felt nostalgic rather than vain. He looked solid enough to be convincing and translucent enough at the edges to be deeply unsettling, as though the room had not fully agreed to keep him. He blinked, looked around, then frowned.
This is absolutely not where I was supposed to end up,
He said, planting his hands on his hips and surveying the apartment with open displeasure. Tara stared at him, her mind scrambling for categories that no longer applied. She very carefully set the glass down on the counter without taking a sip.
This is not happening.
She replied, her voice thin but controlled. The man turned to her, eyes sharp, assessing, and then he scoffed.
Oh, it's happening.
He said briskly.
I don't know why it's happening or how, but it's definitely happening. And I'd appreciate it if you'd stop looking at me like I'm about to start floating furniture.
Her mouth opened, closed. She began, then stopped, swallowing hard.
You're not real.
He rolled his eyes so hard she could practically hear it.
Fantastic. That makes two of us.
The lights flickered again. He glanced up, irritated.
Oh, don't do that.
He snapped at the ceiling.
I've had a very long night.
Tara took a step back, her heart pounding so loudly she was certain he could hear it.
Who are you?
She demanded. The man paused, his expression shifting, confusion briefly overtaking annoyance.
He
stopped, frowned, tried again.
Give me a second.
He closed his eyes, concentrating, then opened them with visible frustration. He said.
That's not ideal.
What's not ideal?
I seem to be missing some details.
He replied.
Name for starters. Context would be nice. Also, I'm fairly certain I didn't die in a luxury apartment, so that's disappointing.
Her stomach dropped.
You're dead,
she said flatly. He considered that.
Rude way to put it,
he said. Then, after a beat,
but yes, that does explain a few things.
The room went very quiet. Tara laughed once, sharp and brittle.
No,
she said.
No, I don't do this. I don't summon things. I don't open doors. I don't.
Well, someone did.
He interrupted, glancing round again, eyes narrowing thoughtfully.
And unless your furniture has developed independent thought, I'm guessing it was you.
She backed into the corner, hands gripping the edge.
Get out.
He looked at her sympathetically.
I would love to, but I'm sort of stuck.
Silence stretched. Then he brightened suddenly, pointing at the untouched glass of scotch.
Is that for you?
He asked.
Because if you're not going to drink it, I'd like to stand closer. Smells comforting.
Tara stared at him. This was not fear anymore. This was something worse. This was complication. And somewhere deep in the apartment, something shifted, settling in, as though it had found exactly where it wanted to be. The first few days after the man appeared in her living room passed in a strange, almost domestic rhythm, as though the universe had decided to test Tara not with terror but with irritation. And by the third morning, she was fairly certain that if he had been designed as a punishment, whoever had commissioned him had a cruel sense of humor.
Stop pacing. You're making the floor feel judged.
She snapped from the kitchen, fumbling with the coffee machine.
I'm not pacing,
he replied, hovering 2 inches above the rug and pointing at it.
I'm assessing structural integrity. This place creaks like it regrets its own existence.
You are dead.
Tara said flatly.
You do not get opinions on my apartment.
Oh, I absolutely do. I just don't get eviction rights.
She tried ignoring him. That failed within minutes. By day 4, she had started calling him names, mostly under her breath at first.
Ghost nuisance. Spectral parasite. Uninvited consciousness.
Until he began responding in kind.
You know, for someone who built an entire brand around reverence, you're astonishingly disrespectful with fire.
He remarked one afternoon as she attempted to light incense.
It's burning,
she said through gritted teeth.
That's literally its job.
Yes, but it's not supposed to look angry. You're supposed to let it breathe.
It's incense, not a toddler.
Same principle. Less screaming.
The next evening, Tara attempted to resume work. She set up a small session with a regular client, someone familiar, someone safe, someone who knew the rules and expected nothing dramatic. And she sat down in the circle with her spine straight and her voice steady, determined not to acknowledge the man lounging against the wall like an uninvited critic at a dress rehearsal.
If there is a presence willing to communicate,
She began, closing her eyes.
one that comes without harm,
Oh, absolutely not.
The man muttered loudly. Her eye twitched.
willing to listen,
She continued, raising her voice slightly.
You're doing the opening wrong.
He added.
You're too tense. They hate tension.
She inhaled sharply.
please,
She hissed under her breath.
for once in your afterlife, shut up.
The client shifted uncomfortably.
Is everything okay?
Tara opened her eyes, forced a smile.
Yes, just give me a moment.
Oh, this is awkward.
The man said cheerfully.
You didn't tell her about me.
She shot him a murderous look.
You're not real.
Tell that to the draft.
He replied, pointing at the flickering candle. Tara exhaled, shoulders dropping.
I'm so sorry.
She said to the client, voice gentle, apologetic.
Sometimes the connection just doesn't open. It happens.
The client nodded, disappointed but understanding, and left with a polite thank you and a half-hearted reassurance that perhaps it just wasn't the right day. The man watched the door close and winced.
Oof, that hurt your pride.
She rounded on him.
Do you have any idea how carefully controlled my work is?
Yes, and I think that's the problem.
She stared at him.
What problem?
You don't leave room for listening. You only leave room for performance.
By the end of the first week, Tara had escalated. She called in exorcists. The first arrived armed with mantras and confidence, stepping into her living room with a booming chant that faltered the moment his eyes landed on the man leaning against the wall.
Oh, you brought help.
The man said politely. The exorcist went pale.
That's not supposed to be here.
He whispered.
I've been saying that.
The chant resumed, louder now, more frantic. Incense smoke thickening the air as symbols were drawn and erased and redrawn. And throughout it all, the man watched, arms folded, unimpressed.
You missed a line.
He commented.
That one's crucial.
The exorcist froze.
It spoke.
I do that.
The ritual collapsed shortly after, the exorcist leaving with an apology and a promise never to return her calls. The second was worse. More dramatic, more theatrical, more convinced of his own authority.
This spirit is bound to leave.
He declared, voice ringing.
Oh, am I? That's exciting news.
The ritual ended with broken chalk, a cracked mirror, and Tara sitting on the floor with her head in her hands, while the man hovered nearby, unusually quiet.
I think someone doesn't want me gone.
He said carefully. She looked up.
What do you mean?
He frowned, genuine confusion creasing his face.
Every time I try to remember who I was, why I'm here, it's like hitting a wall. Not forgetting, being stopped.
Stopped by what?
He shook his head slowly.
That's the problem. I can't see it.
By the seventh day, the first real signs of trouble surfaced. A client's cousin collapsed hours after a cancelled session. Another was admitted to hospital with unexplained neurological failure. Machines malfunctioned. Doctors shrugged. Charts made no sense. Tara stared at her phone late one night, the weight of it pressing into her palm.
This has never happened before.
I know.
You're not doing this.
It wasn't a question.
No,
he replied immediately.
but something is.
She looked at him then, really looked, and for the first time noticed the strain beneath the sarcasm. The way he sometimes paused mid-sentence as though something had tugged sharply at his thoughts and refused to let go.
I've tried.
He said softly.
I keep trying, but it's like someone's reaching in and shutting doors.
Outside, Mumbai continued as it always had. Crowded, loud, indifferent. But inside the apartment, something had shifted. The fun was thinning. The humor was fraying. And whatever had arrived with him was beginning to show its teeth. By the 10th day, Tara had stopped pretending this was temporary. Her apartment no longer felt like a place she lived in so much as a space she endured. Cluttered with half-burnt candles, abandoned notebooks, salt lines smudged by anxious pacing, and the persistent presence of the man who had arrived uninvited and now treated the place like an aggressively opinionated houseguest.
You're walking in circles again.
He observed, hovering near the ceiling fan.
If this were a ritual, you'd be exhausting the energy instead of focusing it.
It's not a ritual.
Tara snapped.
It's insomnia.
He tilted his head.
Ah, that explains the mood.
She shot him a glare.
Do you ever stop talking?
He considered it.
Once, briefly. It didn't go well.
That night, it happened. Not during an argument, not during a ritual, not even during one of her increasingly desperate attempts to pretend things were still manageable. It happened while she was sitting on the floor, back against the sofa, scrolling numbly through her phone as another headline boomed across her screen. Influencer medium linked to series of unexplained deaths. Her throat tightened. Behind her, the man went very still.
That's new.
He said quietly. She didn't look at him.
They've started using my name.
They always do.
He replied.
First it's suspicion, then it's certainty.
Her phone vibrated again. You killed my mother. Fraud. Witch. Rot in hell. Tara let the phone slip from her hand.
I didn't mean for this to happen.
I know.
The silence stretched heavy and unfamiliar, and when he spoke again, his voice was different. Not sarcastic, not sharp, but hesitant, as though he was stepping onto unstable ground.
I think something just loosened.
She turned to him.
What do you mean?
He frowned, pressing his fingers to his temple, his form flickering faintly around the edges.
It's like, have you ever had a word on the tip of your tongue? You know it's there, but it won't come out?
Yes, that's called stress.
This isn't. This is pressure.
He closed his eyes. When he opened them again, his breath hitched, sharp and sudden.
Oh,
He said. Her pulse spiked.
What?
I remember.
He said slowly, incredulous.
Not everything. Just one thing.
She stood.
What do you remember?
My name.
She waited.
Vijay.
He said, then firmer, as though anchoring himself to it.
Vijay Patil.
The name settled into the room like a held breath finally released. She swallowed.
You're sure?
Yes.
He said, then frowned.
No, I mean, yes, I think so. It feels right. Like something that used to be shouted.
A flicker of warmth crossed his face before vanishing.
Someone used to say it when they were annoyed with me.
Tara smiled faintly despite herself.
That tracks.
His expression sobered.
But everything else is still blocked. Family, how I died, why I'm here. It's like someone's put a hand over those memories and is squeezing.
Her stomach dropped.
Someone?
Yes, this isn't random.
The next morning, the internet finished what it had started. Videos dissecting her work flooded timelines. Former clients stitched together clips, their grief weaponized into certainty. Old accomplices were named and shamed, some preemptively denouncing her to save themselves.
She knew what she was doing.
This was always fake.
She deserves this.
Sponsors vanished overnight, accounts were frozen, emails stopped arriving. By the end of the week, Tara sat on her kitchen floor, staring at nothing, while Vijay hovered nearby, unusually subdued.
This is my fault.
No, this is someone using what you did.
She laughed bitterly.
That's not better.
There was a knock at the door. They both froze.
You expecting someone?
Vijay asked.
No.
She said, heart hammering. The knock came again. Polite, measured. She stood slowly, every instinct screaming, and opened the door. A man stood in the hallway, mid-30s, neatly dressed, holding a slim folder under one arm. His expression calm in a way that felt deliberate rather than comforting.
Tara Deshpande. My name is Karthik Raghavan. I was hoping we could talk.
Her breath caught.
About what?
He glanced past her, eyes flicking briefly to where Vijay hovered in the living room.
About the pattern. And about the fact that you're no longer the only one noticing it.
Vijay stiffened.
He can see me.
I can,
Karthik replied without looking at him.
which is why I'm here.
Tara stepped back, letting Karthik enter, her voice barely steady.
Who are you?
Someone whose job is to step in when the line between worlds starts behaving creatively.
He said, setting the folder down on her table. Vijay folded his arms.
That's one way to put it.
Karthik met his gaze for the first time.
You shouldn't be here.
That's what everyone keeps telling me.
Karthik turned back to Tara.
You didn't cause this, but you triggered something that was already waiting.
Her knees felt weak.
Can you stop it?
Karthik hesitated, just for a fraction of a second.
I can explain it. Stopping it will require more than just me.
Outside, the city moved on, unaware that a long-buried mechanism had begun to turn. Inside the apartment, 3 people, living, dead, and something in between, stood at the edge of a truth that did not care whether they were ready for it. Karthik did not rush his explanation. He took in the apartment first. The chalk residue, the exhausted candles, the salt lines smudged by foot traffic, the living proof of someone who had been improvising against forces that did not respect improvisation. And then he looked at Tara with an expression that held neither judgment nor comfort.
There is a balance.
He said finally, resting his hands loosely at his sides.
Not a moral one, not good and evil. Think of it as pressure. 2 adjacent spaces that are not meant to overlap for long.
That's an impressively boring way to describe my current situation.
Karthik glanced at him.
You're not supposed to be able to comment on it.
And yet,
Vijay replied, spreading his hands.
here we are.
Tara folded her arms.
You said this wasn't my fault.
It isn't. But you were a catalyst. You stood at a threshold long enough for something to take notice.
Something like what?
Karthik hesitated again, just long enough for Tara to notice.
Something old. Something that doesn't create chaos directly anymore, but encourages it. Opens doors. Removes safeguards.
Vijay stiffened.
That's...
He stopped, pressing his fingers to his temple, his form flickering, the edges of him distorting as though the air itself had become uncertain.
that's familiar.
Tara stepped toward him instinctively.
Vijay?
He inhaled sharply.
I remember standing in a hospital
He said slowly, words dragging themselves free.
White walls. That smell. My mother crying. Like she was trying not to be heard.
Karthik's jaw tightened.
You're remembering because you're close to the source.
I remember being told I had a choice. He said my family would live, that it would all stop if I just agreed.
Tara's breath caught.
Agreed to what?
That's the thing. I don't remember the terms, just the certainty, the pressure, like the world had narrowed down to one sentence.
Bargains made under duress rarely allow memory to survive intact.
So it was a bargain.
Yes. And someone has been ensuring you don't remember the details.
The lights flickered. Not violently, not dramatically, just enough. From the far corner of the room, a low hum began to rise, the kind that made Tara's teeth ache and her skin prickle.
That's new.
She whispered.
No,
Karthik corrected.
that's escalation.
Vijay's expression darkened.
It's watching.
Tara turned to him.
You can feel it?
Yes. Like something leaning in whenever things get worse. Enjoying the attention.
Her phone buzzed again on the table, screen lighting up with another message she didn't have to read to understand.
You can't stay here.
Karthik said decisively.
Neither of you.
Tara stared at him.
Excuse me?
The longer you remain in spaces saturated with fear, outrage, and unresolved belief, the easier it becomes for that influence to spread. The internet isn't just noise, it's a conduit.
Vijay made a face.
I hate modern haunting.
Karthik allowed himself a brief, humorless smile.
I can take you somewhere quieter, shielded, a place designed to hold anomalies.
You mean like a facility?
I mean a community, one that exists to keep the two sides from bleeding into each other.
Vijay squinted at him.
You people have a name, don't you?
Karthik exhaled slowly.
Yes,
And?
the Lokantar Parishad.
Karthik said at last. The name settled into the room with weight and intention. Tara frowned.
You're telling me there's an organization for this?
There has to be. Because there are things in this world that don't go away just because we stop believing in them.
Vijay went very quiet.
They can help me remember.
Yes. Safely.
And stop whatever this is?
Contain it. Eventually confront it. But not here. Not like this.
Another flicker, stronger this time. Vijay looked at Tara, something apologetic in his eyes.
I didn't mean to drag you into this.
She let out a shaky laugh.
Funny. I was about to say the same.
Karthik picked up his folder.
We need to move before this becomes irreversible.
Tara hesitated, glancing around her apartment, the life she had built, the persona she had burnt down, the mess left behind.
When?
She asked.
Now, before whatever's been pulling strings realizes you've stopped dancing.
Outside, the city roared on, unaware. Inside, a decision was made. And somewhere far older than Mumbai, something noticed the shift and smiled. And that's where we'll pause for tonight. Some consequences don't arrive as punishment. They arrive as persistence, as presence, as something that refuses to leave once it's been noticed. If this part made you uneasy, if it blurred the line between coincidence and intent, or reminded you that containment is not the same as control, then it's telling you the truth. Beyond the veil, not everything that stays means harm, and not everything that lingers wants to be here. If you're still listening, you can support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. It helps these stories find the listeners who understand that the real danger is pretending things will resolve themselves. We're close now, not to answers, but to alignment. Until then, thank you for listening, for enduring the tension, and for trusting me with what hasn't settled yet. I'm Ipsha. This was Vixen Beyond the Veil. Take care of yourself, and when you're ready, return to the city. Just remember, some arrivals change the shape of a room forever.